what can I say? I'm alive.
I'm just very happy that I have my life back.
Carolyn Stevens, please tell us briefly what your health condition was when you started your work with Julie Renee.
Okay, I had a dysmotility of my colon at Stanford University. I had my colon taken out, and I had 3 fluid collections. I had 2 drains put in, and the 3rd drain was not put in, and it was a very extensive infection. I was dying. I had about 3 weeks to live, and I just thought that I should be preparing for my end. I had no realization that somebody as powerful as Julie Renee was going to come into my life and literally raise me from the dead. I felt like Lazarus, and my family, I had family members coming out of town to do the eulogy. My family was planning to go to the local mortuary, and it was very traumatic.
This had been going on for a year and a half. My wife was getting increasingly more sick all the time. You could see it each day. It was getting to the point where it was getting dramatically worse, and just about the point where she was talking to me about how I was going to be raising Chrissy alone and giving me advice on dating, and it was really sad. And a friend of mine called me up on the phone and said, "Chuck, you've been talking about your wife being sick," and I was at a party and I ran into this lady that says that she has some ability to heal, and I was very skeptical. And she actually called me. She says, "She never does this. Normally people just do referrals." And so I was really skeptical because we had been to 2 other well-known that my brother had given me the names of. One was just a diagnostician and the other did also healing. And neither one had been able to really help us. And so she on the phone, she said, "Well, look, I'll just give you a freebie on the phone here and on your wife. Give me her name," and she did. And she said, "You might notice a difference when you go home." So I was very skeptical at this one because we'd tried everything. We'd been to something like, 15 doctors, 65, 70 trips to the emergency room, and so on. And Western medicine had failed us completely, in spite of a Cadillac plan. And so when I got home, my wife had been bedridden at this point, and when I got home, she was up and still very sick, but she was actually up, and I thought, this is a good sign. And so as we began to see Renee, we had several sessions with her, and she worked on her cells to rejuvenate them. The nucleus was dead in some cases. We began to see that she was getting better dramatically. She was getting better much faster than she was getting sick. She was getting sicker pretty fast. So that was, now look at her. She's smiling. We're planning our life. We're not talking about funerals. Chrissy's happier now. It's a whole different world for us right now.
I, to this day, do not quite fathom what happened to me. I can only say that as I read the Bible stories of the healings of Jesus, that's what I experienced with Julie Renee. She is on that level of healing.
What improvements have you experienced?
I immediately started to feel like I had a lot of energy, and this was quite phenomenal because I was bedridden. I couldn't move my legs. I had gained 30 pounds in less than 3 weeks, and 20 of them in less than 10 days, which was quite dramatic. I had difficulty breathing. I was not able to dress myself. I was not able to shower. And now I'm able to not only dress and shower and move around, but I've been going to the gym. I've been swimming in the pool for 30 minutes. And so the changes were not only physical, but they were also emotional and psychological. I feel the healing actually gave me hope and inspired me to continue strengthening my body.
And what happened with the pain level that she was experiencing at the time?
Well, we had been, like I said, about a year and a half. We had been going to doctors, and all they could do was just increase the dosage of the painkillers, and she was on several different kinds of painkillers and so many medications that I would go to I was a full-time nurse practically. My job had almost disintegrated. And I'd go to the counter there with all the medicines, and I couldn't find this one, I couldn't find that one. There was so many to have to deal with, and I thought, how is she ever going to get off this stuff? Because it's so hard to get off of it. And this was at about the point where now she's able to reduce the medications. She's almost off the painkillers now.
I went from 150 mgs of OxyContin, and I'm now down to 20, and next week I'll be off of it completely. I went down from 3 1.5 syringes of morphine down to 1, and I am no longer taking Lyrica or Lexapro or any other pain medications like Dilaudid. So by next week I'll be completely off of all narcotics, which is miraculous.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's April 7th, and figure by mid-April, from the time I met Julie Renee in end of February to mid-April, gone. And the pain went almost instantaneously when I started with her. That's what I forgot to mention, is just a phenomenal drop in the pain and the swelling. My stomach was out to here, and it's just completely gone down.
See, conventional doctors can't see what Renee can see. What they do is they give you CAT scans. And so it's MRIs, CAT scans, one after another. She must have had 7 or 8 CAT scans, and those aren't good for you. There's radiation involved and so on. And so, and doctors won't do anything unless they can see it on the CAT scan. And she wound up, even the 2 other mediums, or not mediums, but the healers we went to, both saw infections that none of the doctors could see. And if they can't see it, they will not go in. They'll let you die. Renee was able to see 5 infections, and she started treating them right away.
I do believe it is her hands-on healing that has made me lose about, right now about 15 pounds just almost automatically, and has given me the energy and the vitality that I need to continue, regenerating my cells. I feel like a new woman. Actually, like at the cellular level, she has done something very profound that I know there's a lot of healers out there, but I'm wondering just how many people do specifically what she does, which is cellular regeneration, which is at the forefront of, I call the new wave of medicine. It even goes beyond mind-body. It's level 3, it's quantum physics, and I think she's really going to be somebody that we should keep our eyes out for in the next 5 to 10 years. I see her becoming very well known. So I'm happy to be at the genesis of her professional career in this respect.
How long have you worked with Julie Renee?
Well, this is the phenomenal part about it, Brandy. I have only known Julie Renee since the end of February of 2010. And I'm sitting here now, and it's April 7th, and it's just like a time travel. It's like I gone in a capsule and went into the future. And that's the only way to describe it. It's surreal from not only my standpoint, but from the standpoint of friends and family who can absolutely not believe what has happened to me. And I feel that part of it is I am a woman of faith, and I do believe that I had something to do with it, but I do believe that she does work with people that don't have the faith, and she's able to transform them into a new person. And that's what I know. Every 7 years we are new, we are regenerated into new people. But I really feel that something profound has happened. Just to let you know what happened, I was in a wheelchair, and I'm walking around. I'm not only walking around, I went to the gym the other day and I did something like, I did 6 miles on the bike, and I did 45 minutes on the elliptical. And it's just amazing. I had people standing up, giving me standing ovations at my club for what I had done. And that's pretty, transforming. It's transforming other people's lives, because she may heal the person involved, but the people around that person, their friends, their colleagues, their families, they are being transformed by her in a very effective way, even on an unconscious level, if not consciously. And I think that when people are healed, what needs to happen is not just the physical healing, but the emotional, spiritual, and psychological. And that's what sets her apart from other healers. I had been to 2 other people that I had seen, well, not seen, excuse me, I had spoken to over the phone, and they were doing some work over the phone, and they're quite well known in this country. One works with Johns Hopkins and UCLA Medical Center, and these people work with these major medical centers over the United States for hard to diagnose cases. And she outdid these people. And that's why I am so impressed with her. And I feel that each day is a new day. Every day is a day to go beyond what you did, last week. I feel that so many great things are for me. Right now she's getting me ready for reconnective surgery. They said I would never be able to be reconnected. She's given me new hope. I'm not planning my funeral. I'm planning my daughter's college plans. I'm celebrating her 11th birthday this week. I'm planning a new career. I plan to re-enter the legal field. I don't know if I'll go back to teaching. I was a university professor, but I'm sort of semi-retired from that. But I just know that she's given me something to look forward to and to inspire other people. And I would like to be part of her story because her story is all of our stories. It's something beyond healing. It's what the human condition is meant to experience. We're meant to experience joy, hope, faith, and love. That is our calling. And I think that's what she gives people.
Carolyn, did you feel an immediate improvement?
I did. And I felt tingling in my legs. I've had another miraculous healing in my neck a long time ago. I had spinal cord surgery, and it was done in a Catholic church. And it was about the same sort of healing. It was a tingling feeling all over my legs. Remember, I wasn't able to move my legs. And I didn't even recognize them when I looked at them. And yet, the tingling in my legs sort of spurred me on to try to move around. It's because, see, without the movement of my legs, my lymphatic system shut down, my kidneys almost stopped working, my pancreatic system was affected as well as my liver. My liver was really affected. And I started to feel inside like my internal organs were starting to work again, because right before somebody passes away, a lot of people don't know this, but your organs start to slowly shut down, and that's what in fact happened to me. And so there was a rejuvenation. It was like they were sleeping, and all of a sudden, with her healing power, they went, aha, something's happening here. I'm alive, and they had to go into reverse. And so I felt this happening in my body, and it even affected my brain, because it's like I was in a deep sleep. I was preparing to die, and I was startled. I remember I was in prayer one day, and I was closing my eyes, and I could see an angel, and I could see the white light, and I knew that I was going for that white light. And then all of a sudden, as I was healing with Julie Renee, I didn't see the angels anymore. I didn't have all the premonitions of dying. I felt like, I should be praying to God for healing instead of passing over into the next life. And that, I think, was the biggest healing, was my psychological state. Because long before we pass away, we start to think about things and what we're going to be doing in the next life. And there's an element of sadness, and it was radiant joy. She gave me radiant joy because I was not passing. I was coming back full force, giving my family hope. And my 10-year-old really needed that. And things started to change in the house. We live in a 2-story building, and I was sequestered up on the 2nd floor. I couldn't move, and I started going up and down the stairs without assistance. And we're planning a trip, to Mexico, and I didn't even think that I would ever get to travel, let alone go to Mexico in a couple of weeks. and I can't believe that I'm planning this trip, but it's just another part of the miracle, you know? It's another part of what's happened to us. It's our story. It's a unending, never-ending story, because each week that I'm with her, and I see her twice a week, I am on a different plane of existence. I feel like a completely different person. And so does Chuck. Chuck's had a benefit of some of her healings too. And he's had some emotional healing because he was so distraught. He was ready to lose me. And he didn't know how he was going to raise our daughter alone, our 10-year-old. So I would say that he's being reborn in a sense, you know. And we still have a long way to go. I think I started out, I wanted to mention, I was at 2% life force when I met Julie Renee. And just yesterday, or the day before, I was at 76%. She brought me up from 2%.
2% to 76%.
76%, and by the time I travel to Mexico in a couple of weeks, I suspect I'll be in my 80s, maybe low 80s. But I mean, that to go from seeing the tunnel of light and an angel to this, you know, an on-camera interview is phenomenal.
Your experience has really been amazing.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I do believe that what helps the healing process is a person's attitude. Mm-hmm. I have to say that I am devoutly Catholic. At one point in my life, I had a religious vocation. I actually lived in a convent. And I do believe that that had an element. We work in tandem, we work together. I'm not saying she can't heal people that don't have that religious belief, but you know, whether you're Catholic, Jewish, Buddhist, whatever your religious belief is, I think it's important to have a core connection with the divine, yourself as an individual, and then working with Julie Renee becomes a partnership. Mm-hmm. It's like our partnership with God, you know. God sometimes heals us even when we're not asking. That's kind of how Julie Renee is. But if you open up the dialogue with God, and you truly believe that what she's doing is she's a vehicle for this divine communication, what it is divine communication on a cellular level, then it becomes very powerful. And you see results rapidly. I think a lot more rapidly than you would if you had not that communication.
Yes.
So, what can I say? I'm alive. And it's Easter. And I think that this was a particularly poignant moment in our lives to have this Easter blessing. Sorry. I'm just happy to be alive. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about.
Can't believe that I'm here. The doctors at Stanford even told me I was dying. The surgeon did the work on me. Sorry. I'm okay.